Good morning and welcome to On the Spot News right here on Zimbabwe Daily. My name is Yvonne Muchaka. Let us take a look at the news making the headlines. Raila wins big as some police stations ordered for scrutiny by Supreme Court do not exist. ZERA announces new fuel prices effective 30 August 2022. UK firm discovers nickel in Bulawayo. UN disturbed by reports that Gukurahundi continue to be a source of ethnic tension. Serial thief faces 17 counts of robbery and Harare school teacher convicted of molesting student. And now for the news in greater detail. It has now emerged that some of the independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission polling stations that the Supreme Court ordered to be scrutinized do not exist. According to Azimio insiders in Kenya, most of these polling stations were not even gazetted, but they had presidential results after voting came to an end. Besides, Raila's team believed that these ghost polling stations contributed significantly to the variance in presidential votes compared to those of the governors, senators, members of parliament, women representatives, and members of the county assembly. The Kenya Supreme Court on Tuesday gave a directive that some 15 polling stations be scrutinized. The Zimbabwe Energy Regulatory Authority ZERA has reviewed the prices of diesel and petrol with effect from 30 August 2022. In a notice sent by the Zimbabwe Daily, ZERA said diesel prices in Zim dollar had been raised from $851.14, while petrol was raised from $769.35, both announced on 17 August 2022. The price of diesel has remained at $74 per liter, while the price of petrol was increased to $58, up from $57. United Kingdom-based Galileo Resources has announced the discovery of potential nickel targets at its Bulawayo gold project following the recently conducted airborne geophysical survey on its two exclusive prospective orders. Galileo currently has exclusive prospecting orders covering 1,300 square kilometers in Bulawayo, with gold as the primary target, and another 520 square kilometers in Kamativi, where lithium and tantalum are the primary targets. The survey, which was carried out by Calibre Airborne Geophysics, an external consultant for Galileo, revealed that it had identified several areas with nickel deposits potential. According to Excalibur, the majority of these mineral deposits are greenstone hosted, mainly found in meta-gabbro rocks. The contractor also established the existence of greenstone belts, banded iron formations, and geological structures which are favorable for gold and nickel mineralization in areas that had not been explored hitherto. The first $75,000 a month of income will now be tax-free after the proposed tax-free threshold was yesterday increased from the proposed $600,000 a year to $900,000 a year after lobbying by parliamentarians in the National Assembly. Finance and Economic Development Minister Professor Ncube had proposed the $50,000 a month, twice the previous $25,000 a month, for the zero tax bracket in his supplementary budget in July, presented as part of his mid-term fiscal policy statement. But during debate for the required finance bill implementing his tax measures in that budget, legislators said that the proposed threshold was still too low. So Professor Ncube offered $75,000 a month. Several legislators had suggested $100,000 a month, but eventually there was compromise on $75,000. The supplementary budget had to almost double government spending this year as a result of higher than expected inflation, especially between May and August, and this was matched by rising revenue, also driven by inflation, since many taxes are percentage taxes and so rise with inflation. Paint manufacturing giant Nash Paints yesterday launched a $1 million decorative manufacturing plant in Harare as part of its efforts to aid the accelerated housing development projects being implemented throughout the country. The paint company also aims to penetrate regional and international markets with decorative paint. The plant has the capacity of producing 18,000 liters of paint per day with a complementary semi automated packaging plant. Speaking during the official launch of the plant, Nash Paints executive assistant Mr. Bredon Sibanda said the development would cut production costs for the business due to economies of scale. The United Nations Human Rights Office of the High Commissioner has said it is concerned about reports which say Gukurahundi continues to be a source of ethnic tension in Zimbabwe. The atrocities happened in the 80s in the aftermath of independence when the late former President Robert Mugabe deployed a North Korean trained 5th Brigade to deal with alleged dissidents in Midlands and Matabeleland provinces. About 20,000 people were killed. There have been calls on the government to bring perpetrators to book, but Justice, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Minister Ziambi recently told a UN conference that authorities were handicapped by a general amnesty declaration that was issued by Mugabe in 1987. That suggests that the government won't take action. In other news, a Harare serial thief appeared in court yesterday facing 17 counts of robbery. Blessing Kadzomba, 30, stood before Magistrate Mrs. Yaokai Zuda and was remanded in custody to October 6, pending finalization of investigations. Admission to bail was denied due to the strength of the state's case. The state, represented by Anish Suchirenje, alleged that on March 3 this year, Blessing Kadzomba, in company of Shepard Fombe and Timothy Machakaire, who are on remand, picked a woman with their car along Lomagundi and robbed her of an HP laptop, power pack, Samsung A52 cell phone, itel P36 cell phone, $250 and 700 RTGS before they dumped her along Marlborough Drive. They used a Toyota Wish vehicle registration number AEI 9872. A Glenview one high school teacher in Harare has been found guilty and convicted of raping his 17-year-old female student. The offense was perpetrated in May 2019. Admire Kafurura, 29, appeared before Harare magistrate Ignacio Mene, who postponed sentencing to Thursday. Circumstances are that in May 2019, the victim was an upper sixth student, went to Kafurura's office for extra lessons. On arrival, she confided in the teacher that she was not feeling well and could not attend the tutorial. Kafurira then gave the girl a glass of water, reportedly laced with an unknown substance, and she suddenly started feeling dizzy before passing out. The court heard that when the girl regained consciousness, she found the accused zipping and fastening his trousers belt. The victim noticed that she was naked and felt pains on her private parts, suggesting she had been sexually abused. She proceeded for medical examination and family support clinic before filing a police report, which led to Kafurura's arrest. Shepard Makonde represented the state. And now to end this news bulletin, a look at the headlines once again. Raila wins big as some polling stations ordered for scrutiny by Supreme Court do not exist. ZERA announces new fuel price effective 30 August 2020. UK firm discovers nickel in Bulawayo. UN disturbed by reports that Gukurahundi continues to be a source of ethnic tension. Serial thief faces 17 counts of robbery, and Harare teacher convicted for molesting students. This was the news right here on Zimbabwe Daily. Thank you so much for tuning in. Pleasant viewing.